My name is Jonathan Jones. It's my pleasure, my privilege to be your host and moderator for this afternoon. We're excited to be talking about something that's very important. It should be important in everyone's mind because we all have lost someone to cancer. I don't think there's any person that has not, his family or acquaintance that has not dealt with this horrible condition. In fact, the Center for Disease Control still lists cancer as the second leading cause of death right here in the United States. And it's hard to even imagine that, right behind heart disease. Now, it's closely on the heels of heart disease, at least it was up until 2020. As of 2021, heart disease just exploded. So now it just turned around. It was going down. It was a downward trend, 8 to 9%. After 2021, now it's been back on an upward trajectory. In fact, so we'll be talking about heart disease in coming days. But right along the line of the subject matter, preventable cancers, this is what the American Cancer Society says. They've got a list of of causes of preventable cancer. So there's 42% of the cases they say is preventable. 42% of all cancers they say is preventable. Smoking is number one. Obesity is on the list. Alcohol, UV radiation, physical inactivity, and poor diet. It's all listed as right there on the list of preventable causes of cancer. The World Health Organization, this was published by CNET back in 2011, and they said that cell phones may cause cancer. Now, I'm going to ask for a show of hands here. How many on this call right now would be willing to give up their cell phones for 6 months? Just put up your digital hand. If you knew it was going to cause you cancer, just put up your digital hand if you would like to willing to give up your cell phone for 6 months. Oh, so okay, so there's two people. Two people. I don't believe you. No, there's several people that are willing to do that. Just going to tell you right now, I don't believe you. I don't believe that anybody would give up their cell phones for 6 months because the warning has been given, and yet cell phone sales have never been higher than they are right now. But before we really begin our discussion, and we're going to show you a couple of pictures before we invite Dr. Prasad into our discussion, because there's a lot of folks that have come to these meetings that do not know some of the things that we've shared in the past. So we're going to just bring you up to date on a couple of cases that illustrate how food can make a difference. So I'm giving you a warning in advance that you're going to see a graphic image that may or may not make you feel comfortable. So as soon as I finish reading this disclaimer, the next slide is going to be an image that you may not necessarily want to see. So you consider yourself warned if you don't like seeing open wounds and things like that. So be aware that the FDA has not evaluated these statements that are being made today. Testimonials are purely anecdotal. What that means is that results are atypical. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. Engage Global, the micronutrient company, is not making any claims that MicroDaily or any of the Engage Global products will cure, treat, or heal from disease. We can't make that claim. So what you're hearing today is for information and educational purposes only. Dr. Prasad, our primary featured guest and lecturer, is a scientist. He's not a medical doctor. So he does not want this session or this recording, if you're listening to it later, to be used as a substitute for a visit to your primary health care physician. We strongly, strongly, strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. That being said, here's a gentleman who did go to a doctor, but he waited a little bit too long because he ended up with this basal cell carcinoma that, as you can see, did some serious damage to his face. But he ran into someone who gave him a recommendation that there was some food that he could add to his diet, a nutritional supplement that he could add to his diet that could potentially improve the outcome of the treatments that he was getting. Because he was going to be told he had to take some really radical treatments, and he did. He took radiation. I forget how many rounds of radiation, and Beth is on here. Maybe she can clarify it for us. Exactly how many rounds of radiation, or Jeff might remember how many rounds of radiation Rick took. But here's the point. He added a micronutrient supplement that Dr. Prasad formulated to his diet. It didn't cure him. It didn't treat him. It didn't heal him. But look at the man's face. The same spot right over there on the right, you can almost see there's no evidence whatsoever that he even had a cancer before. It's shocking. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You can do anything with AI these days. You don't even have to have Photoshop to fix anything like that. But I can tell you the individuals who took these pictures, I can tell you that they took the actual photographs. These are not doctored up in any way, shape, or form. They have not been altered in any way. So that just shows you what can happen. That was in August. The first picture was taken in August. The second picture on the right was taken in November, all 2023. That's the difference in time, August to November of 2023. And all the man did was add a nutritional supplement to his diet. He took the treatments that his doctor recommended he take, but he added a nutritional supplement to his diet. You can't even see any evidence that he had any conventional cancer treatment, because you know what cancer treatment does when you get it. It has terrible side effects, unfortunately, just really sad, awful side effects that go with it. And this woman here, her name is Iris. And Iris came on our program one day, and she said she wanted to share her story. I'd never heard her story before. And I thought it was quite amazing when she did relate her story. It was pretty fascinating.
Yep. Here's Iris's.
Most of you know that I did have cancer. I think it was 2018. And I met I've been knowing Mr. Lewis for a long time. But then, she had introduced me to the Micro Daily. So with God in prayer and Miss Levette, I decided that I would go ahead on and take the Micro Daily. And I did it before I had surgery. So I needed to get it in my system. So once I got it into my system, when I had my surgery, I did not have any pain. I did good. Then after that, I did 8 rounds of chemo. And chemo it's poison. It's a lot of poison that's going inside. Okay, didn't get sick one day because I was constantly taking my Micro Daily, constantly. Then I did 33 rounds of radiation. Didn't get sick, didn't hurt. So now I'm on this thing called tamoxifen. It's the pills after cancer, and one of the side effects is the bones. I should be aching all over. But because, God has prepared me along with Ms. Levette to be great, of course, he allowed me to not have any pain whatsoever. And I go around, I talk to my clients about, a lot of them have blood pressure problems, all of these different problems. I'm like, you know what? I had cancer. And this Micro Daily, it attacked that cancer. And I tell you, I'm just grateful. And that's my testimony.
Okay.
Jeff,
told her story.
There you have it.
Very serious about that. And as you can see, she was quite emphatic with the way she expressed herself. You don't know the clinical circumstances surrounding her situation. You don't know the clinical circumstances surrounding Rick's situation. And we could actually give you dozens more similar cases like that. And keep in mind, again, the results are atypical. When you hear testimonials, they're anecdotal, purely anecdotal, because no clinical circumstances have been documented. We will attempt to get some of the more clinical data. We're working on a couple of cases right now that we're going to share with Dr. Prasad and put the actual documents in front of him and the doctor's statements of their situation and a list of all the medications that they've been taking and how they added this particular supplements to their diet so that Dr. Prasad can write an observational study for it so the world can get to know that these things happen. In fact, one woman right now, she's got a fungating cancer and it's bulged it's exploded right out of her chest. But parts of the tumor is literally falling apart. So when she takes the bandages off, parts of the tumor is literally falling off. So it's sobering, and I know that's kind of a graphic thing for you to hear, but she's trying to take her body back from cancer. That's the point. She's decided she's not going to just simply sit around and do nothing. She's decided she wants to take her body back. So that's what she's working at. We're happy that hopefully we'll be able to share that story with you in the future. But remember, we're not making any claims that Micro Daily will treat, cure, or heal from any disease. Only the United States government can declare any nutritional supplement to be a treatment or cure for a disease state. So let's see if we can't draw Dr. Prasad into our discussion and help him to understand how cancer starts. what is it that makes cancer become what it is? He's highly qualified to do that. As you can see, his accolades are extensive. This man was the professor of the University of Colorado School of Medicine for 30 years. He was a former president of the International Society of Cancer and Nutrition, a member of the Royal Society of Medicine, London, UK, Nobel Peace Prize nominating committee for candidates in medicine, the world's first radiation biology PhD. His products have been awarded 8 U.S. patents on micronutrients. He discovered the anti-cancer potency of vitamin E succinate. He discovered that butyric acid, small fatty acid formed by fermentation of fibers in the guts, an anti-cancer agent. He's the author or co-author of some 33 books, working on his 34th. He's been published not 250 plus times, but it's been more like 300 times. This gentleman has forgotten more than most of us know when it comes to the subject of cancer, nutrition, and science. And we are privileged to have Dr. Prasad with us to be able to break it down for us and to tell us how and why it is that cancer can form in the first place. How is it that a normal cell can become a cancer cell? So, Dr. Prasad, once again, sir, thank you very much for joining us in our discussion. We're happy and always privileged to have you here to enlighten us on things that we would not otherwise be able to know.
Thank you, Jonathan. I always enjoy every Sunday with you and the Engaged family. So, there are two aspects of prevention when you talk about prevention. One is a normal person who never had a cancer, how to prevent for them, what is the prevention strategy for them. Second, prevention people, because we have now some increased number of survivor of cancer patient. And so that those cancer patients now, what are risks for developing a cancer for them? So what is the different strategy for them than those people who have never had a cancer, and how we can deal with that? You see what I mean? Because
Yes.
cancer survivor have an increased risk of first reoccurrence of the primary tumor.
Yes.
It is also the not only that, but also a development of cancer, some other site, and I will tell you why it happens. Like, for example, if you have a cancer of a colon, for example, but later on you develop cancer of melanoma or prostate cancer or some other kind of cancer. So why it happens like that? And what you can do. So those people who are cancer survivor, what they can do for prevent all those reoccurrence of the tumor and development of a new tumor. Those are strategy.
That makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Yeah. And so first, we discussed last time, and you discussed very nicely, Jonathan, that your diet is very important. You should have actually the data that I was aware of, you put in more detail percentage-wise, but generally it was believed, and there was a statistically data, that smoking alone, if you give up smoking, you reduce the cancer incidence by 30%. And if you have modified your diet alone, lifestyle diet, you modify it, then you reduce another 30%.
Wow.
So 60% cancer is preventable disease. But
just by those two things.
Just about two things. But have we done it? No. Because human behavior are difficult to change.
Right.
But we always try to preach it. Preach is a religious word, but always try to convince them to do it. But
That's
will
right.
they do it? But that is their job. Our job is to try to educate them, and whether they follow it or not, even they follow 20% is better than zero.
That's right.
So now, with respect to cancer, and it is very easy to do it. If you look at, for the diet modification, they say, oh, take a fruits, vegetables diet. But for cancer issue, they emphasize more on high fiber diet.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason high fiber diet is for two things. One, it can bind all the toxic chemical in your gut and eliminate easily, so that you don't get constipation. Second thing is that fiber also provide a food for good bacteria, beneficial bacteria,
Yes.
to ferment it and produce a butyric acid, which is anti-cancer agent.
Cancer fighter.
And so and that, in early days, there was a lot of paper on a high fiber diet alone and the risk of cancer in both animal model. For me, if animal model is really well done, that it is high, it is most likely that humans are also involved, at least with respect to cancer. And then another thing is that risk factor for cancer now is a new thing, is like you asked the question, is a EMF radiation from cell phone. Well, we can't remove it. I'm surprised that so many people say they can give up 6 months.
I still don't believe him, Dr. Prasad. I don't believe him. I think
I
they were just
cannot
doing
even,
it for dramatic drama.
I cannot live even for one day.
Yep.
And so the question is, first we have to, so I appreciate those people who volunteer that they can. So I admire them, but I can't personally. And so that what is why they do it? Why they cause cancer? But they also produce the same thing, like ionizing radiation will do it, or environmental agent will do it, or poor diet will do it, namely produce excessive amount of free radicals. But there is another thing that none of these factors produces it, is that EMF radiation vibrates charged particle, whether it is positively charged or negatively charged. And in your body at a given time, there are a lot of molecules. We know some are positively charged, like sodium, potassium, calcium. They are positively charged, but are negatively charged, which are the free radicals. And so the question is, if you don't do anything, that what happens that when the molecule vibrates, they become very sensitive to damage by any kind of agents, become sensitive. So you can see that why EMF radiation in some way is unique in causing cancer.
Wow.
And as you mentioned last time, the 2011 World Health Organization for Cancer defined EMF radiation as a carcinogen, B carcinogen. And so it is known. But what you do, once you know it, you can't give up. You try to reduce it. That's what I try to do it, reduce as much as possible. But then
maybe you buy a shield or something, you try to protect yourself from it, but that's about all we do.
But also that there is another thing you can do that is easy to do it, prevent it, the damage produced by it. How do you prevent it? Well, they produce free radicals. So if you take a micronutrient that we have, and Dr. Coate has treated so many humans on this kind of sickness, acute sickness, what is called a hypersensitivity, and he claims that it is once he takes the micronutrient, then he does not suffer that. So here is the two issue there. It is, we knew that it will reduce oxidative stress. But if in your body you have a charged particles, an antioxidant, at least the negatively charged particle, they can donate the electron and make them neutral.
Right.
So now they can vibrate it. So not only you are protecting by micronutrient, you are reducing the number of negatively charged, at least negatively charged particles in your body if you take micronutrient. And that's why micronutrient is effective. So for EMF radiation, I try to say, reduce it as much as you can, but also take micronutrient to prevent a potential harm, not only cancer, but also neurological issues, which is cognitive dysfunction, diabetes, many kind of illness related to oxidative stress, it. It is involved in every disease. Plus, don't also forget that it does not work by itself also.
Right.
Combined with other environmental agent, they produce a synergistic damage. And so now this is they produce. So what they do once you have excessive production of free radicals? Well, free radical, and then they will induce inflammation. What they do, they cause mutation in normal cell. Mutation means genetically genes of some cells, not all the time, some cells have changed, we call mutation. And so what mutation does? Mutation, sometimes it is happening in our body all the time. It does not happen, it doesn't do anything. But by chance, So by chance, if it hits the right genes, for example, oncogenes, which is responsible, but they're normally present, but when they get mutated, they become cancerous causing gene.
Mm.
Tumor suppressor gene is there because some genes will keep tumor from not being developed. But if the free radical have caused mutation on suppression gene, that its function is no more there, you increase the risk of cancer. Third type of gene is the gene who cause differentiations. The normal cell will, like for example, blood cell or any kind of cell, normal cell will differentiate it, the precursor cell differentiate it, and then they die. This is the normal pattern our body goes. Some live for a few hours, some live 24 hours, and so on. And so that goes on. But when the mutation occur in a differentiating genes, then the cell cannot differentiate. The stem cell cannot differentiate. Then it becomes cancerous. They keep dividing. Instead of dividing, differentiating, and dying, they don't die anymore.
Wow.
So you can see you have three kinds of mutation in genes. And then you say, what happened? How they call mutation? But then happens higher the level of oxidative stress and inflammation, higher is the chance to have a mutation in one of the three genes.
Oh, wow.
It is a chance. So the question is how you prevent it so that it doesn't. Well, the causing agent is oxidative stress and inflammation. Otherwise, you can't cause a mutation by any other means. Your body has to. So higher the amount, greater is the mutation occurs, and then greater is the risk of that one day one of these three genes get mutated, and then cell become cancerous.
Wow.
So this is very important to remember it. And then also there was another group of the chemicals is also called tumor promoting agents. Have you heard tumor promoting? There are some agents like nitrosamine or X radiation or EMF radiation. They're all initiating genes. They initiate mutation. But mutation, once this becomes, so the cells are dividing, but they are not becoming a cancerous. So then the tumor promoting gene comes into picture. An example would be for breast cancer would be estrogen is important in terms of as a promoting agent. For men, testosterone, hormonal, any hormonal type of cancer, they act as a tumor promoting agent. But tumor initiating by itself can induce tumor. They don't always need the help of promoting agent.
I
But
didn't know
promoting
that.
agent by themselves cannot induce tumor. That is
Must
one.
have something to initiate it.
Yeah. So you can see that how the complex is. But even effective promoting agents can be blocked by antioxidant. So not only antioxidant block the effect of tumor initiating agent, which is because of the free radical and so on and so forth, inflammation, but also tumor promoting agent. So that's one distinction you have to remember it. And we can change the diet. We can reduce the exposure to environmental agent, including EMF radiation. But what people can do that is easily adaptable, because central issue is increased oxidative stress and inflammation in your body. And all these agents that we are talking about increases that. And so question very simple. Micronutrient or which contains antioxidant will do the job. So if you take it, for that person who has never cancer, then you have a reduced risk of developing cancer, because your body has now normal level of oxidative stress. You cannot eliminate 100%, but what it is that you increase it, because certain amount of oxidative stress is important, because this keeps your cell, this keeps you, a small amount of free radicals keeps the antioxidant level working, increasing. Like if you have a low level of free radicals, they induce NRF2. That means you increase the antioxidant enzymes. So your body has a antioxidant capacity to deal with that. So it is so these things are very important. So it is easy to adopt. It is difficult to change the environmental lifestyle and all these things that we discussed. But taking a micronutrient is a very easy thing to do. Very easy thing to do.
Right.
And another very important thing is that while in trying to prevent cancer, you also have to prevent your good health. And as you grow older, you have also problem with intestinal dysbiosis. And intestinal dysbiosis is change in the composition of bacteria in favor of toxic bacteria. And you have to take care of that. Because as you grow older, this is very important. Not only that, but I just found out that treatment of cancer is dramatically reduced if you don't take care of intestinal dysbiosis. This has been published information, and actually I'm writing a review on that to bring the attention that how important is during treatment, but we don't discuss any prevention. But even prevention aspect, even prevention aspect, if you don't take care of them, they will produce pro-inflammatory cytokines, which is pro-inflammatory cytokines.
Mm-hmm.
These pro-inflammatory will cause mutation. So it is indirectly affects also the mutagenic events in your body by damaging the DNA. And so to take care of intestinal dysbiosis is extremely important for both prevention and, of course, the treatment. At some point we will discuss it, or we have already discussed it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, people don't realize this. Micronutrient, when they do experiment, clinical study, they just do with one antioxidant. No, body doesn't have one antioxidant. Somebody will try just the probiotics and nothing else. Well, you will get some result, you can publish paper, but it has no relevance in human.
Right.
Therefore, it is very important to have the kind of formulation that we have, a multiple mixture where you have sufficient amount of dietary antioxidant as well as our antioxidant that our body makes it, plus some additional antioxidant like that we get from the diet, like resveratrol, but not everybody eats grapes every day.
Right.
Curcumin, not everybody eats like Indian food that I do.
Mm-hmm.
But so you have to rely sometimes very essential to have a supplement. And we have all those kind of supplement that we have it. But these
I'm going to bring those supplements up and try to get a comment from you on each one of those. But can you make one thing clear? The comments about the genes and those 3 different types of genes that could become an issue and differentiating cells that stop dying. That's mind-boggling, Dr. Prasad. But can you make it clear for everyone here, what is gut dysbiosis? What are you talking about when you refer to gut dysbiosis, just so everyone understands that?
Yeah. Normally, healthy person, we have beneficial bacteria, which will ferment your fiber and produce a lot of beneficial molecule for your health. But when it shifts to dysbiosis, we call it, because the number of bacteria overwhelms toxic bacteria, harmful
bad
bacteria,
guys.
bad bacteria. Bad bacteria overwhelms it, and they start producing a lot of toxic chemical, including pro-inflammatory cytokines, and that can damage as well. So you have to, until you take care of that, micronutrient alone will help some. But if you are not taking care of this one, you are not helping the optimal way that you want to do for your health.
That makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. And we have your comment. You made a comment about this, I think, on one of the slides that I'm going to just put this up real quick. And Jeff is going to share one testimonial with us, an additional one, because and the reason for that one is because in these comments, prostate cancer comes up and stomach cancer is mentioned in the whole story. So we want to share that. But this is exactly what you were just talking about here, right?
Exactly. Yeah, recommendation, yeah.
Okay. So there you have it, folks. If you just want to take a screenshot of that,
Dr.
Prasad was just relating to us.
Yeah.
You know, How
and
important.
it is simple to adopt it. This is not your, a diet, so I still sometimes I abuse myself with respect to diet. I go
Right.
we can have a drink with family and, a lot of calories eating.
That's
But,
right.
so, I mean, life on this planet is also, you have to enjoy it,
Mm-hmm.
not to a point that can harm your body.
Right. Right.
But when I was young, I was not aware of all these things. And that's why
Right.
I think it will be a good lesson for the younger people, that they should be aware of these kind of phenomena, how they can improve their health.
And do something now. Do something
Yeah.
now while you still have
Now,
the
I mean,
option.
that's the beauty of the cancer prevention is that if you get today exposed to, say, radiation, or we are getting exposed to EMF radiation or diagnostic radiation or treatment of radiation, which is high dose, it takes 10 years time interval between the exposure and your cancer, 10 years for leukemia. And for
Wow.
solid tumor, it takes 15 to 20 years.
Wow.
So you have a lot of time to intervene. So you
Wow.
can start this thing anytime because your
Wow.
gene have not been mutated. It is just waiting for a chance. So if
Mm-hmm.
you reduce the oxidative stress and inflammation, then you will have very little good chance of getting mutation.
That's
Oncogene or suppressor.
powerful to hear. Say that part again. Very little
I
chance
said,
of
so, in a genes, mutation in genes like oncogene, suppressor gene, or differentiating gene, you have less chance of mutating one of those three genes that increases the risk of cancer.
and pay attention to that, folks. If you don't have cancer today, and we're going to just assume that the majority on this meeting right now do not have cancer, some may, and we understand that. But right now, we can take an action to disrupt what's already percolating. In other
Yes,
words,
percolating, yeah.
it's in the microwave and it's about to go ding. You can literally disrupt the cycle and
Yes.
stop it from going through the full cycle. So that's what Dr. Prasad is saying. Simple things that we can do.
Simple thing, yeah.
to
And
prevent
also
it.
try to modify your diet as best as you can. But, but this is very easily adaptable and you can do every day.
Right.
It doesn't take much time, doesn't take our thinking, doesn't impact quality of your taste or anything.
Right.
It's so simple
Right.
to adopt it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yep, that's exactly it. So very good suggestions. So we're going to share this one testimonial with you now. Again, for the sake of our audience, because several folks that are here now,
Definitely. I enjoy watching those testimonials.
it's an amazing thing. And we also still have we have Gretchen with us also. So we're going to try to get a comment from Gretchen. She's a cancer survivor,
Mhm.
and she's been taking your formulas since then. So Jeff, can we pop you in here and let you do your thing?
Yeah, I'm here, Jonathan, and if you want to just spotlight me so that this is full screen, I'll share David Bonus's video with everybody. It's pretty significant, his experience, and then what he talks about with his daughter. And thank you just for putting this information out there for everyone. So here we go with David.
About these, I had an operation here on the side of my temple where they had to remove a very aggressive skin cancer known as squamous cell carcinoma. And I noticed I had 3 more moles coming up like a feeder that maybe they had missed. And so, being the good person that Alfreda is, she didn't tell me about it. She came to my home and started telling me all about this micro daily. And I did what she said. Started taking triple doses of the. Matter of fact, I just made me one. Very simple to use. It's like Crystal Light. And I was drinking 3 of those a day and doubling up on the micro daily hydro. And I did that for a little over a month. I had high blood pressure problems. I was able to reconnect with my original doctor. He had all my previous testing and pallets from all the different blood tests, etc. Well, the high blood pressure had already damaged my kidneys. And I went to a different doctor, and she wanted me to do, because of my age, she wanted me to do everything from a colonoscopy to you name it. I said, I'm not doing that. So he said, no, I understand where you're coming from. Let's just start with the blood test and we'll go from there. Your blood pressure medicine is not working. You're 200 over 140. And close to having a stroke, I assume. That's what I've been told. And so he increased the amount of losartan that he was giving me. He said, I want to see you in about a month. And so in that month, I'd been taking micro daily, the regimen that I described. And I had to go to a lab where they took the blood tests, and they did from A to Z all the different things between diabetes and my kidneys and the high blood pressure and yada, 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 prostate. When I came back to see him, he says, David, I don't know what you're doing, but your prostate, you're in the 1% or less that'll never get prostate cancer. Because I can't detect any more damage on your kidneys. Your high blood pressure is at 130 over 80. Diabetes, you're never going to have it. Your whatever they measure,
A1C.
it's off the chart good. It's 5.3.
Wow.
Yes, it was close to maybe a 10.
Yeah.
And in 5 days, 3 lesions from the cancer that had come back had fallen off.
Wow.
Right.
He said, I don't know what you're doing, but keep on doing it.
That's typical answer of doctor, yeah.
My daughter, stage 3 cancer. She has a lymphoma in her stomach.
Wow.
She's on chemo. We're giving her a thing called HER2. And I suggested that she start micro daily, et cetera, triple doses. And this past week, she got a phone call. She's been going through this for about 2.5 months. She's on the micro daily for a month. And her doctor told her the exact same thing that I heard from my doctor. I don't know what you're doing, but keep on doing it. There's no trace of cancer. Stop doing it. She still has an appointment in Tennessee to see her oncologist because this returned. She had the cancer 4 years ago. And when a person at her age, young, has a reoccurrence, it's a 84% mortality rate.
Yeah.
It's very high. It comes back, and it comes back stronger than ever. And there's not she's got 4 kids.
Wow. Wow. David,
So we only wanted to supplement what they were doing with the doctor. It wasn't that this was a cure-all, but it damn sure helped.
wow.
Yeah.
David,
I'm just going to pass it back over to you, Jonathan. It's just amazing what this is doing for people. And just like David said, it wasn't that he was doing it instead of, it was just a supplement to what they were already doing.
that's right. That's right. That's powerful. That's powerful.
That's amazing. I propose this hypothesis, and that during transition period, my goal, as you know, is to get FDA approval so that it can be widely used, and with the approval of FDA. But for that, I have a similar, not same formula, but in a transient time during this interval,
Yeah.
else you do. You come as close as possible to your own original formula, as long as people are getting benefit.
That's right. That's
I would
right.
have said, no, I know, because my it will interfere with my formula. No, I want people help.
That's right.
Even though it is not exactly that what I have, the patent has been granted, but it is high dose. That's good enough for me for the time being.
And it's clearly working. It's benefiting
Actually, high
folks.
dose is working. And
So
again, it does make difference what kind of tumor you have. This is another beauty of this, because all tumor, no matter what kind of tumor it is, they require glucose and glutamine.
right.
If you deprive them, they will die. Very simple.
Wow. That's incredible. Well, we want to we got Gretchen Daniel here with us right now.
Sure.
And she is a cancer survivor.
Mhm.
And she's decided that she's going to start taking your formula. She's been taking it now. Gretchen, thank you very much for sharing your story. Can you tell us tell Dr. Prasad what you've been experiencing since you added his supplement, his formula to your diet?
Okay, so not going back to the cancer, but since I've started doing the boosts, you mean?
Yeah, since you've been taking Dr. Prasad's formula, micro daily, you know,
Okay.
how's it changed you? Because you were fighting cancer, so and going through
Right.
chemotherapy and everything. So how's it benefited you?
Well, I have to tell you, I am a very skeptical person when it comes to things, and but when Deborah introduced it to me, it took me a few weeks to start taking it, but I started taking it, and in the beginning I had no energy. I was just in the bed, and before I knew it, I was up doing things, and it didn't dawn on me that I had energy. And so I did the radiation and surgery, and I was taking triple in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. And I was doing the hydro EMF, the powder form. And every time I went to do the radiation, I would not have any feelings of being exhausted like I was. And by the time I was through taking or doing the radiation, I had already planned, before I found out that I had cancer, I had already planned a cruise. And I was telling the doctors, I don't know if I'm gonna make it on this cruise. And and then things happened to where one of my last treatments was literally 2 days before the cruise. So I took I took like extra dosages, and I woke up, and I started packing slowly, and I woke up, got my suitcases together, and I was on that cruise. And I continued taking it while I was on the cruise. I just relaxed. And before I knew it, I said, I feel like getting off the boat, And so I was able, for a few of the stops, I was able to get off and walk around a little and do a little shopping. And I, not really thinking about the energy spurts that I was having. And so then I said, well, I had to wait before I could start taking the other boosts. And I had a TIA the March before I found out that I had cancer. And I could tell that I wasn't right. And still now, I'm not 100%, but being able to just articulate what I was feeling, what I went through, I couldn't remember any of that. It was like on top of the cancer, what they call that fog.
Yeah,
And
chemo
on
brain.
top of the, yes, and on top of the TIA, it was really bad for me. And so I finally started the brain boost. And within maybe a couple of weeks, friends were telling me, wow, you sound a whole lot different. and I started listening to myself. So what I did to test it, the night before, if I thought about something that I needed to do the next day, I said, let me see if I remember. And then I found that I was remembering saying that at night, let me see if I remember. And I
Wow.
remember everything. And so I said, wow, this is really working. So I'm making sure that that's a regular part of my regimen, as along with the omega-3. And of course I do the probiotic, and I'm still taking the hydro doses. And just the energy, even though, from the radiation, you get this, it's like this back door of fatigue that's kind of there, but you still have the energy, and you feel that weird fatigue feeling in the back. And you're like, okay, eventually you're going to be gone too. But I'm telling you, I can't even express how much I appreciate you, Dr. Prasad, because I had no idea what I was going to do. It was so crazy to me being out. I'm an athlete. I've taught a 55-minute body pump class. I'm a pescatarian. So, I was completely what I thought was a health nut. And when they told me I had cancer and all these other things started happening, I didn't know what to do. So I'm very thankful. It's a blessing. Wow. And I'm very thankful. And I just want everybody to know, don't wait. Do something about it now before it gets worse, because to be as healthy as you can be in this imperfect body, it's, you really will appreciate it when you can feel the amount of health that you can actually get from the products.
Wow. Thank you very much, Gretchen.
Thank you.
Well said. Well said. We needed to hear that, Gretchen. Thank you very much for your questions. That's pretty powerful, Dr. Prasad. And
it is extremely powerful. Yeah.
It's got to be rewarding to you. For the sake of our audience, just so that everyone has it clear, I put the disclaimer up on the screen again so everyone understands we're not talking about Dr. Prasad's formulas being a treatment or cure for disease. And you're hearing testimonials, they're purely anecdotal. However, if you do want to know what these folks have been taking, if you want to try any of them, then it's very simple. This is the main one right here. It's called microdaily EMF. And for someone who is actively dealing with a massive amount of abnormal cells and their doctors has told them that they have a serious problem, like Gretchen's doctor told her, then you want to take triple the normal doses. That puts you in the high antioxidant category. Triple the normal dose. That's all you have to remember. You don't have to remember, should I this or that? Just triple the normal dose, all right? Then the second thing Dr. Prasad talked about with the probiotics.
Yes, very important.
He doesn't mean go pick up any old probiotic off the store shelf. This particular formula that he put together himself, he understands the gut bacteria better than anyone that I personally know. And clearly the scientific community recognizes that because he discovered the only bacteria, the one that produces anti-cancer components. So he put that in his formula. And these are all acid-resistant and heat-resistant strains of bacteria. That's what this is. So this is the one you want to take. And maybe for the first couple of weeks or so, if you really have a real bad problem, take double or triple the amount for about a week or so, and then taper down to 1 twice a day. And then you'll get yourself back into not dysbiosis, but you'll have a nice healthy gut biome. Everything
Yeah.
goes back in the right direction. The omega-3, Dr. Prasad's formula, this reduces inflammation. Powerful, powerful formula. This is the best one out there. And for those suffering with chemo-induced neuropathy, he's got borage oil in there also. That's all designed to help improve circulation. So you should find yourself getting much improved benefits with neuropathy. This is Dr. Prasad's Digestive Boost also. This is like putting teeth down in your stomach. So not
Yeah.
a single one of us chews enough. But this is like dropping a set of teeth down in your gut, and it breaks up every single thing you could be eating. It breaks it apart. So he made sure to put everything in there that could break up every category of food, every class of food. That's what he has in this formula right here. It breaks it apart so your stomach can digest it better. So that means someone who's got lupus, someone who's got IBS, someone who's got diverticulitis, someone who's got whatever, you're going to benefit when you put this one down in your gut. So be happy with that. And this is what Gretchen was talking about, the brain boost. So she added this, and it's like a light bulb turned on.
Yeah.
Now, I've never been treated for cancer, Dr. Prasad. So I've never gone through chemo or radiation, but I can tell you right now, I found another bottle of this. Remember I told you last week I was running out of it?
Mhm.
I found a bottle in the pocket in my car, and I grabbed it and put it in my backpack so nobody else can get it. So I didn't run out. So that's probably the only reason why I'm able to participate in this discussion. But it's very simple, folks. The price is simple. Get it on subscription. It's $110 if you buy it full price. I don't recommend that. Just get it on subscription like you're buying it, so you can get the discounted price. And keep in mind here, folks, this is what we want you to do, especially if you're dealing with cancer. Dr. Prasad has made the recommendation, choose the basic bundle, okay? And then add on.
Don't take
Add
collagen
on.
peptide.
Right. Take the basic bundle and add on the brain boost and add on additional micro daily. So that's what you want to do. So don't go with the premium bundle. Don't go with the core 4 if you're dealing with active cancer cells. Okay. It's mainly because, and we'll talk about collagen next month, but that's the main thing. But
Okay.
you want more details of this, folks. You just get back with the person who invited you to this discussion, and they'll be able to answer a ton of your questions and help you sort through all the different options on the website. We are going to take a couple of your questions. If your questions are cancer related and related to our topic, we are going to take a couple of questions. But before we completely run out of time, I just want to make sure that you saw the rest of the slides. And I want you to know something else. Next month is Kidney Cancer Awareness Month. I didn't know that. I went and searching for it. And this country has declared March to be Kidney Cancer Awareness Month. So we're going to spotlight a little bit about the kidney. We won't necessarily be talking about kidney cancer again, but all the things that could lead to it. We're going to be talking about kidney health next week. So you can look forward to that as being part of our discussion for next week. So take a screenshot of that if you want. And that's what you can share with anybody that you care about. So take that screenshot right now. So Dr. Prasad, you want to just take a couple of minutes, maybe, and answer a couple of questions if they're on topic?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. So Bernard, do we have any questions out there that are cancer related?
I'm not sure what Patricia's question was. I want to acknowledge her because she had a question at the beginning. Patricia Dupree, if she can come on. I'm not sure whether it's cancer related, but also you have one other question. Can extreme stress contribute to cancer?
Yes.
Actually, I don't have a question. I just wanted to say that I have to agree and knew about the cell phone, Jonathan, and I can give it up. I have a couple of them, but I remember when I got my first cell phone and I used it 3 times and I felt the current go through my head and I stopped. But the only reason, we have it now is because if you stop on the road, you got to call somebody.
Okay.
But I have to agree, and that's one of the major things. Even the big screen TV, you can feel everything emanating from it. So that's really all I wanted to share.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Jonathan, to validate what you said, AT&T lost cell service, and look what happened.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. People there lost their mind.
That's a much bigger story, but I won't comment. I think you all know.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Okay, and the other question, Dr. Prasad, if you want to comment on this, someone said, can extreme stress contribute to cancer?
Yes,
How and why?
because extreme stress, they produce a lot of a steroid, which is very harmful, can damage your system, and also increase oxidative stress in your body. And so, again, one day of extreme stress is not important. I'm talking about the chronic
Prolonged.
stress.
Mm-hmm.
And to reduce the address, again, to reduce that kind of symptoms, you take at least the three things: collagen peptide, no, the omega-3 fatty acid, probiotics, and also in this case, not only take micro daily hydro, but also CBD is very important to reduce your stress and anxiety and depression level. And we can talk some other time mechanism why we think so.
Gotcha. That's outstanding. Thank you very much with that, Dr. Prasad. So, folks, there you have it. We try to keep our word. We want to keep it right up to at 6 o'clock. It's the end of our discussion. Dr. Prasad, thank you once again, sir.
Thank you.
For all that you have brought to the table for us. And we look forward to our next series of discussions with you on whatever the topic is and whatever the dates are. And who knows, we may try to pull you in to talk a little bit about the kidneys next week.
Okay.
So
I mean,
let's see how
kidney,
it
again,
goes.
kidney cancer is a cancer. It doesn't make difference to kidney cancer, prostate cancer, breast cancer.